Daniel is 27. He makes $64,000 a year. He has a 401k he set up during onboarding and hasn't touched since. He has a savings account with $4,200 in it that he calls his emergency fund, even though he dipped into it twice this year. He has $1,100 in a Robinhood account he opened during COVID because everyone was talking about stocks. He is not broke. He is not irresponsible. He is not living beyond his means. But he has no real money, and he knows it. Last Tuesday, Daniel did something most people never do. He sat down, opened every account he had, added up every dollar, and wrote a single number on a piece of paper. $6,847. That's it. That's everything. 3 years into his career, working full-time, no major disasters, no gambling problem, no secret debt spiral, and his entire financial life adds up to less than 2 months of his salary. He stared at that number for a long time. Then, he typed something into Google that millions of people have typed before him. How do I actually start building wealth? And the internet gave him what the internet always gives. 1,000 contradictory answers, 17 sponsored posts, 4 people arguing about crypto, and a Reddit thread from 2019 that may or may not still be accurate. Here's what nobody told Daniel. There is a specific threshold in personal finance that changes everything. Not retirement, not $1 million, not financial independence. $100,000. The first $100,000 is unlike any other financial milestone. It is the hardest to reach. It takes the longest. It requires the most discipline per dollar. And once you cross it, the math starts working for you in a way it never did before. This is the blueprint Daniel needed. This is the blueprint most people never get. If you're new here, this channel is about the financial decisions that shape your life, explained honestly, with real numbers, no fluff, and no products to sell you. Hit subscribe if that's what you're looking for. Today, we're building the first $100,000 blueprint. Not motivation, not vibes, the actual mechanics. What to do, in what order, and why the sequence matters more than the amount. Let's get into it. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's business partner for over 50 years, said something that doesn't get nearly enough attention. He said the first $100,000 is a bitch, but you have to do it. That's not inspirational poster language. That's a precise financial observation from one of the greatest wealth builders in history. And the math behind it explains exactly why. Here's what compounding actually looks like in the real world. You have $10,000 invested. At 7% annual return, the long-run average of a broad market index fund, you earn $700 in year 1. That's decent. That's a nice dinner out every month. You have $100,000 invested. Same 7%. You earn $7,000 in year 1. That's $583 a month, working silently, requiring nothing from you, generated entirely by money you already saved. You have $500,000 invested. Same 7%. You earn $35,000 in year 1. That's a part-time salary, produced while you sleep. The math doesn't change. The rate stays the same. What changes is the base. And the brutal truth is that until your base crosses $100,000, the compounding engine is technically running, but you can barely feel it. At $6,847, where Daniel sits, 7% annual return generates $479 per year. That's $1.31 per day. The engine is on, but it's idling. The mission is not to get rich. Not yet. The mission is to get the engine to a speed where you can feel it moving. That threshold is $100,000. Here's the number most people never calculate. A dollar saved and invested at age 25 is worth approximately $14.97 at age 65, assuming 7% average annual returns. A dollar saved and invested at age 35 is worth approximately $7.61 at age 65. Same dollar, same investment. 10 years later, worth less than half. Daniel is 27. He has not missed the window. But every year he delays crossing the $100,000 threshold costs him, not linearly, not gradually, exponentially. If Daniel reaches $100,000 by age 30 and contributes nothing else, that $100,000 becomes $1,497,000 by age 65. If he reaches $100,000 by age 35 and contributes nothing else, that same $100,000 becomes $1,068,000 by age 65. 5 years. Same effort. $429,000 difference from the same $100,000. This is not a reason to panic. This is a reason to understand that the timeline is the variable. The amount matters less than the age, and the age that matters most is the age you cross $100,000, because that's when the engine stops idling and starts driving. This is not a list of tips. This is a sequenced system. The order is as important as the steps. Phase 1, the foundation. Kill the bleeding. Before Daniel invests a single dollar strategically, he has to stop the financial bleeding. This means one thing: a real emergency fund. Not $4,200 dipped into twice. A genuine, untouchable, 3-month expense buffer sitting in a high-yield savings account earning 4 to 5% APY, not 0.01% at a legacy bank. For Daniel, 3 months of real expenses is approximately $9,000. He has $4,200. He needs $4,800 more before he moves to Phase 2. Why this first? Because without a buffer, every market dip, every car repair, every unexpected bill pulls money out of investments at exactly the wrong moment. The emergency fund is not a savings goal. It is the foundation that makes every other financial decision stable. Phase 1 is complete when the buffer is full and parked somewhere that earns real interest. Phase 2, the match. Free money has a deadline. Daniel's employer matches 401k contributions up to 4% of salary. On $64,000, that's $2,560 per year in free employer money. He is currently contributing 3%. He is leaving $640 on the table every year. Phase 2 is simple. Contribute exactly enough to capture the full employer match. Not more, not less. The match is a 100% instant return on investment. Nothing else in finance offers that. It goes before everything else except the emergency fund. For Daniel, this means bumping contributions from 3% to 4%. That's $51 less per month in take-home pay. It generates $2,560 in annual employer contributions. The math is not complicated. Phase 3, the debt audit. Not all debt is equal. Daniel has no credit card debt, but he has $18,000 in student loans at 5.8% interest and a $12,000 car loan at 6.9%. Here is the framework most financial content skips. Compare every debt interest rate to your expected investment return. Broad market index funds have returned approximately 7% annually over the long run. Any debt above 7% interest should be paid aggressively before investing beyond the match, because paying off 8% debt is a guaranteed 8% return, better than a probable 7% from markets. Any debt below 7% is a judgment call. Mathematically, investing the difference often wins. Any debt above 7%, pay it first. Daniel's car loan at 6.9% is borderline. His student loans at 5.8% are below the threshold. Minimum payments. Redirect the rest to investing. Phase 3 is about knowing which debt to fight and which debt to manage while building wealth simultaneously. Phase 4, the investment engine, the exact order. This is where Daniel's $100,000 actually gets built, and the account order matters more than most people realize. Step 1, max the HSA if eligible. Triple tax advantage. Contributions pre-tax, growth tax-free, withdrawals tax-free for medical expenses. After 65, functions as a traditional IRA. It is the single most tax-efficient account in the American financial system. Step 2. Max the Roth IRA. $7,000 per year in 2024. Contributions from after-tax dollars, growth tax-free, withdrawals and retirement tax-free. For Daniel at 27, in a lower tax bracket now than he likely will be at 60, the Roth is almost always the correct choice. Step 3. Return to the 401k and increase contributions beyond the match, up to the $23,000 annual limit. Traditional or Roth, depending on current versus expected future tax bracket. Step 4. Taxable brokerage for anything beyond the above limits. No tax advantages, but no restrictions either. Full flexibility. For Daniel, executing phases 1 through 4 with discipline redirects approximately $1,100 per month toward wealth building. At that rate, $1,100 per month at 7% annual return, he reaches $100,000 in approximately 5.8 years, by age 33. That $100,000 at age 33, untouched, compounds to $1,247,000 by age 65. He hasn't become a minimalist. He hasn't taken on a second job. He has sequenced correctly. Phase 5. The automation lock. Remove willpower from the equation. Here is the phase most blueprints skip, and it's the one that determines whether the other 4 actually happen. Willpower is a depleting resource. Every financial decision that requires active choice is a decision that will eventually be made wrong, during a stressful week, a social event, a moment of weakness. The $100,000 blueprint only works if it runs without Daniel's daily involvement. This means automatic 401k contributions set and forgotten. Automatic Roth IRA contribution on the first of every month. Emergency fund in a separate bank, not the same app as his checking account. Automatic transfer to investment accounts the day after every paycheck. The system runs. Daniel lives his life. The engine builds. The behavioral research on this is unambiguous. People who automate savings consistently outperform people with identical incomes and intentions who don't. Because automation removes the moment of decision entirely. The numbers are clear. The sequence is logical. So why do most people with Daniel's income never reach $100,000? 3 reasons. First, milestone blindness. Without a specific, visible target, the brain treats saving more as abstract. Abstract goals lose to concrete present pleasures every time. $100,000 is not abstract. It is a number. It shows up on a screen. It gets closer every month. The brain can track it, and the brain responds to trackable progress. Second, the lifestyle inflation window. Every raise, every bonus, every increase in income opens a 30-day window in which spending habits are still calibrated to the old income. Most people unconsciously expand their lifestyle before the increase is even fully processed. The $100,000 blueprint requires capturing that window, automating the increase before the spending fills it. Third, the comparison trap. At 27, Daniel's friends are buying things. New cars, nice apartments, vacations on Instagram. The social cost of building wealth in your late 20s is real. It means occasionally saying no to things that feel completely normal and reasonable. This is not a character flaw. It is the price of the inflection point. And it is temporary. The people who cross $100,000 before 35 are not smarter than Daniel. They are not higher earners than Daniel. Not always. They simply decided that the number on the screen mattered more than the noise around them for long enough to cross the threshold. Here is the reframe. Most people think of wealth building as delayed gratification, suffering now for reward later. That framing makes it feel like punishment. Here is the accurate framing. Every dollar that crosses $100,000 stops being a dollar and starts being a machine that works without you. that doesn't call in sick, that doesn't negotiate, that compounds silently while you sleep, while you work, while you live your life. Daniel is not saving money. Daniel is buying machines. At $6,847, he has a few machines, not enough to feel yet. At $100,000, he has an engine. The question is not whether you can afford to build it. The question is whether you understand what you're actually building every time you make the right call. Because the people who figured this out early didn't get rich by earning more. They got rich by starting the engine sooner than everyone else. Start the engine. If this gave you a clearer picture of where to start, subscribe. Every video on this channel is built around one idea: real numbers, real mechanisms, no fluff. The next video is going to challenge something else you probably think you already understand about money. I'll see you there.